Hey guys, Total here again. Um, Today I'm going to be going over gearing real quick in Legion. Everything before raids open, so I'm not going to go into stuff after raids open, which will include the higher level mythic dungeons and raid gear, of course, including like LFR and everything. So I'm just going to be focusing on what you can get the first couple weeks of Legion. Um, and we're just going to kind of go down the list right here real quick. So the first and most obvious source of gear is World Quests. You can check my other video for World Quests if you're not sure how they work, but they just pop up and they sometimes give gear. Let me just find one. It gives a piece of gear somewhere. So like this one, it's a ring. It gives stamina and some random stats on it. Let me see another one. This one is crit and mastery necklace. Okay. Um, so they just give you gear kind of based on your item level. This one's actually bugged right now. It's supposed to be 830. So like you can see, this one is 825. Um, the standard tiers for them right now are 805, 820, and 830, although sometimes some of the harder ones are 5 item levels higher. Which one you get is just based on your item level. So like when you first hit 110, you'll be getting like 805 gear from World Quest. Once you outgear that, then you'll get 820. Then you outgear that, then you'll get 830. So you just kind of check around every day, find the ones that give gear. If it's an upgrade, then go after it. Whatever, fine. And before I go any further, there's also a plus next to the item level of all of these things. That means that just like any other piece of gear in Legion, this goes for like every single piece of gear you can get, it can randomly upgrade to be higher. Before raids, that'll go up to 850. After raids open, it can be even higher than that. So that's kind of random. It's not very often that you get them. But it's not terribly useless to go do stuff that gives gear, just because it might just be a side grade or something. Because you might get lucky; it might actually be a better piece than what it looks like. So that'll just go for everything else that follows as well. The second major source of gear will be crafting, because you don't actually have to rely on luck for crafting, really. The way it works right now is you get an item like this. It's an 815 item. That's actually kind of terrible at 815, but slightly better than normal mode gear. It's enough to get you into heroic dungeons, but then you upgrade it using the Obliterum Forge. What the Obliterum Forge means is that it's kind of like disenchanting almost, where you just take crafted stuff and you see it says obliterable on my flasks there, and you just obliterate them. And you get this Obliterum Ash for obliterating. You get 100 of that, and it turns into an actual Obliterum item that you apply to your gear. It'll have like a Obliterum 0 out of 7 listed on there. Like I can actually just craft one real quick. Actually, no, I don't have the mats to make any of the higher ones. But yeah, it'll just say Obliterum 0 out of 7, very similar to the Warlord's upgrades. And then you just apply Obliterum, and it's 5 more item level. And you do this until it's 850 as the absolute maximum. You can get crafted gear in every slot except your weapon, which there are some lower level crafted relics, but it's you can't upgrade those. So like for example, Enchanting has one. I don't have the recipe right now, but it's an 805 relic. You can see in my weapon here, I have 825, 840, 820. So relics that you find are almost always better than the crafted ones. And these relics, these are just what control your weapon item level. You just find these like normal drops, and your weapon has 2 slots and a 3rd slot after you finish your Order Hall campaign, which is one of the first things you should do on any character. And that just controls the item level of your weapon. So combined, all of these make my 861 weapon. So it's not any individual drop anymore that gives you a huge like DPS increase or whatever. You have to get multiple relics to actually get your increase. And they also give you a nice minor trait, which is nice, but not really a big deal. So yeah, you can get crafted gear of any slot. That includes like Darkmoon trinkets. You can upgrade those too. There's no limit this time like there was in Warlord, so you can get however much you want. The only limit is that you need crafted gear to blow up in the forge to get the Obliterum, and it's kind of expensive. Like this is like 50 cloth and 40 leather for one piece that'll give me like 20 ash, which is like a fifth of an Obliterum. So you need, like a good, I want to say, couple thousand profession materials to get a piece up to 850. It's actually not that big of a deal if you can buy stuff on the auction house and everything, but if you're planning to just farm yourself, you can only get, maybe 2 or 3 items up to 850, or you can just dump a bunch of gold and upgrade them that way by just buying everybody else's materials. Now the Obliterum itself is not bound, but you can only apply it to BOP gear. So you'd have to buy a base pair of gloves or something, and then use the Obliterum yourself to upgrade it. It does take 2 Blood of Sargeras, which are the new BOP crafting material, to apply Obliterum, but you will have more than enough from dungeons if you're just learning to apply it. If you're crafting, some of the pieces cost bloods to make, and those give more ash than the regular pieces. But again, those are very limited just by the crafter themselves. So yeah, just you can get up to 850. Don't expect to be able to get like a full set of 850 crafted gear, but you can get a couple pieces very easily. So then we have dungeons, which are just the normal progression. As normal though, dungeons are 805, heroic dungeons are 825, and then mythic dungeons are up at 840. It's normal. This time we have mythic dungeons available from the beginning of the expansion, but now they've just taken on the appearance of raid loot, where there's just 3 difficulties instead of 2, and each one gives a higher item up. Mythic dungeons do still have the weekly lockout though, so you can't really rely on gear from them. But again, all the gear can be randomly upgraded, which means you can just spam heroic dungeons, and over a long enough period of time you'll have a full set of 850 gear that way. We've also got world bosses, which they currently drop 860 gear. I'm pretty sure those are going to get either lowered down to 850 or they won't be available right away, because that's a little weird that everything else is probably going to be capped at 850, but the world bosses drop 860, but again, that's all RNG based, so not too many chances at that. And then we have a bunch of sources of one-time individual pieces of gear that you just have to do something to get them. There's a quest line that involves going into Illidan's past and figuring out his stuff and everything. It starts with a quest called the Fallen Star, which let me just show you the quest so that you'll know what it is when you get it. It's up at Khadgar up here. Okay. So, A Falling Star. This is the quest that starts the Illidan quest line. I think that the later parts are gated through some kind of time or something. I don't really know if they'll be available at the beginning, but if you can get towards the end, one of the later quests gives an 825 piece of gloves, and the very last one gives this nifty 840 helm that lets you sense demons on the minimap, which is kind of cool. So that's that one. It's also a really cool questline, by the way. There's also a necklace you can get from getting revered with the Nightfallen. This, I don't know if you can actually get this before raids open. It kind of depends on the final tuning of the reputation numbers. But you just straight up buy this necklace with gold. I think we'll be able to get there with 3 weeks. But again, it depends. Then we have the infamous Kirin Tor ring at the jewelry vendor here in Dalaran, 250,000 gold for... Oh, they nerfed it. Wow. AFK. I don't know when they nerfed that. But yeah, it's 850. you can actually wear it at level 101, so it's doesn't take that long to. I mean, you can have this for basically all of Legion if you want. If you really want to drop 250,000 gear, although no, it's 850. It's not actually that big of a deal to buy. It was amazing before. I guess that's kind of why they nerfed it. They didn't want people to feel like they had to buy this as part of gearing up. But it is a very nice jumpstart because there aren't very many other ways to get 850 pieces guaranteed. And you get a half-hour teleport to Dalaran. Of course, you have a Dalaran Hearthstone that does the same thing. So, yeah. I mean, it's there if you want it. It's not really necessary. And then lastly, we have the Order Hall set, which is a special set of gear from your Order Hall that's based on... It's usually a recolor of some other kind of tier or something. And you have to do a couple like one-time achievements to unlock the ability to get that piece of gear. And there's usually like a quest at the vendor that gives them, that will give you the piece of gear once you've unlocked whatever it is that gives it. And this is anything from, you get like an 810 piece for hitting 110. That's, like right out of the gate you get one. I don't remember the requirements for all of them because they kind of go away once you have it. You can see like, there's this whole set here. One of them was getting like honored with every faction, which you can have like once you're 110 basically. One of them was, let's see, it's the boots that are 830 that you get revered with 2 factions. That's easy enough. The belt is for once you have 100,000 artifact power, which you get once you have around, I want to say 16 or 17 traits, which again that'll be like literally within a week of hitting 110. The robes are for getting your 3rd relic slot, so finishing your Order Hall campaign, you get an 830 robes. And that's something you want to do on every single character anyway. So an 830 chest piece just for free, that means you don't really have to worry about getting a chest piece, really. These legs are... The legs are for beating the last boss of the 8 dungeons that have normal and heroic modes. So again, you can do this, like, right as soon as you hit 110, you can just do normal mode on all of them, and there you go, you just have 820 legs. Pretty easy. Again, I don't remember what the gloves one was. But yeah, I mean, you get the picture. Oh yeah, and then the shoulders are getting exalted with the Nightfall, which will take several months. You can see they have these set bonuses. They're not very good. Like, extra regen. You take less damage when you're at low health, fine. And then the 6 and 7 piece, or the 6 and 8 piece bonuses are kind of insulting right now. 1,000 intellect for 6 pieces of this. I'm an 846 item level, and I have almost 30,000, so yeah, not a big deal. Yeah. You can also upgrade these pieces to higher item level by spending order resources, but you can see it's 1,000 to go from 810 to 820, and then 3,000 from 820 to 830. But by the time you have this many disposable resources that you can't just be spending on something else, you can't really buy these. So don't worry about these, it's just only what you can get the base item levels for. Currently, I believe the best path is once you're 810, you can just walk into heroics. Right now, you need 810 item level to queue for random heroics, but if you have a pre-made group of people, you can just walk into the instance anyway and start getting 825 gear right away. And then you just spam that basically forever. And then you do mythic dungeons once a week each, and then back to doing more heroic dungeons. In between doing some other stuff that you kind of need for your character, like world quests for order resources and artifact power and everything, but mostly heroic dungeons. That's probably going to be the best way to gear up. And then on the side, you can get some pieces of crafted gear for a night's boost, and the world bosses once a week. And that's about it. I hope you guys learned what you needed to know, and I'll see you next time.